So this one utilizes yeast as a leavening agent. So you've been looking at a lot of YouTube videos about making bread during the pandemic. And rightly so, because bread is one of those things, one of those recipes that we do at home that will take a bit of time. But what we're going to teach you today is something that is very easy to follow and something that can go very well with pasta, with salads, with soups. So this is called focaccia. Okay? And focaccia bread is a very easy type of bread. You don't need to shape this, but you will definitely need a sheet pan or a square pan to bake it in. Okay? So it will only need a very, very minimal amount of rising time or fermentation period. That's what we call it when we use breads that utilize yeast as a leavening agent. So the ingredients here, I have, we're going to steep about 2 cloves of garlic that we have lightly minced already. And then we're going to mix this with a half a cup of vegetable oil or olive oil if you want your bread to be more flavorful. And we're going to steep it in the oil. So we're going to warm the oil a bit, and then we're going to place this one so that all the flavors get into the oil. So while that's being done, okay, so we have already one that has been steeped already. We're going to add a little bit more. So it amounts to about half a cup, and then you have the 2 cloves of garlic here. And then you're going to need a teaspoon of dried herbs. We're using basil here. And then 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, which we're going to put on top of our bread later on. 2.5 teaspoons of dry active yeast or instant yeast. And then you can use 1/4 teaspoon of honey, or if you don't have honey, you can use 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. So sugar here, you need a small amount of sugar because this is the one that's going to feed your yeast. Okay, so that there's sort of some activity also in your bread. And then you're going to need salt, about 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and then you have your warm tepid water. But you don't really necessarily need to worry about the temperature of the water if you're using instant yeast. So in this case, we're using instant yeast. So what you're just going to do is you're going to place your yeast in the water. You're going to add your sugar. And then you're just going to give it a light stir. Just to integrate all the yeast. So once you can see that the sugar has already been dissolved in the water, you're going to go ahead and add about, out of the 2.5 cups of flour, you're going to add about a cup of your flour into the mixture. So you don't really need to wait for it to bubble. There you go. And then to this, we're going to add 1/4 of the oil. To make sure. And then I'm going to get a little bit of the garlic already inside. Dumutin na lang natin siya. So a little bit of the garlic. So this mixture becomes sort of like your starter mixture. A little bit na half of the herb. And then we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes now. After 5 minutes, we're going to dump in the rest of the flour, the salt, and then the herbs. Okay? And then we're going to just bring the dough together. what you're looking for in this type of dough is you have a crusty exterior, but a very, very soft. You don't really need to have a lot of the flour for, kasi sometimes if it's humid, you need, if it's summer na, you need more flour. If it's the cold weather, you need less. Basta the important thing is the dough should be about 60 degrees. You're bringing the temperature of the dough to about 60 degrees. That's why you're doing this one. So nakita nyo naman. So after 5 minutes, we put in all the 2.5 cups of the rest of the flour, which is about 1.5 cups na lang na natira, and then the herbs and the salt, and then we just simply used our hands to mix the mixture. Okay, this has already rested for about 10 minutes. So we're just until your mixture comes together, so you can see that it's an oily, very, very elastic kind of dough. This doesn't necessarily need a lot of kneading time. So, konti lang yung pagmamasa niya. For as long as the dough comes together, and then you can just form it into a round mass. You have to make sure that when you're testing your dough, it's not fighting back. So when you poke your finger, it just lightly springs back, but it should leave a dent. So this one is not yet quite ready. Yeah, it springs back, but it's leaving a dent already. There you go. And then just let it rest in your pan. And then cover it with a damp cloth. And then after about 15 or 20 minutes, we're going to put it in your pan, and then we're going to bake it in the oven. So I'm going to show you how you're going to bake it in the, put it in the pan. Already your dough, it's already ready. It's sitting on the oil. So what you just need to do is to just spread it out in your pan. Then use your fingers to spread it out. That's how easy it is. Take note, it's a quick yeast kind of dough. And then you're dependent on the olive oil, not just for flavor, but also for the crunch outside. So, ganyan lang siya. You just spread it all around. Okay, spread it out in the pan. Tapos the rest of your oil, you just put it on top. Just make sure to spread it out. So, that's how simple lang bread making is. So this one, it doesn't go directly to the oven, but it will take less than like 5 to 7 minutes na lang na rice. And then after that one, just bring it na lang. Then about 20 minutes for it. Okay, so let's let it.